I thought I knew exactly what love looked like, until one ordinary afternoon proved I didn't know anything at all. The letter waiting inside our mailbox wasn't addressed to me, but the moment I unfolded it, every promise my husband had ever whispered suddenly felt like the beginning of a carefully written lie.
My name is Claire, and if you had asked anyone who knew us, they would have said Ryan and I had the kind of marriage people secretly wished for. We laughed over burnt pancakes, danced in the kitchen, and somehow made 12 ordinary years feel like the happiest life imaginable.
We met during a neighborhood volunteer cleanup after a summer storm left our town in chaos. While everyone rushed to leave, Ryan stayed behind, helping an elderly couple rebuild their fence. And something about that quiet kindness made me believe I'd just met the safest person in the world.
The years that followed felt almost unreal in the best possible way. We bought a little blue house with squeaky floors, rescued a stubborn golden retriever named Max, and dreamed about someday filling the empty bedroom upstairs with a child's laughter instead of unopened storage boxes.
Life wasn't perfect, but it felt honest. Ryan kissed my forehead before work every morning, texted me terrible jokes during lunch, and never forgot our anniversary, even after all those years. I honestly believed trust wasn't something you earned every day, because we'd already built enough of it.
The first crack appeared so quietly, I almost ignored it. Ryan started working late more often, blaming a demanding client and endless deadlines. But whenever I asked about his day, his answers became strangely rehearsed, almost as if he'd practiced every sentence before walking through the front door. One evening, his phone buzzed while he was in the shower. I wasn't trying to snoop, but the screen lit up with a message that simply read, "I miss you already." Before I could react, another notification covered it, and my stomach tightened in a way it never had before. When I asked him about it later, Ryan laughed softly and said it came from a coworker joking about switching departments. His explanation sounded reasonable enough, yet something inside me refused to settle. For the first time in our marriage, I caught myself wondering if love could actually sound convincing while hiding the truth. I hated the person suspicion was turning me into. Every late meeting suddenly felt suspicious. Every unexpected smile at his phone looked guilty, and every reassuring hug somehow left me feeling more alone. I wanted proof that I was imagining everything, because the alternative terrified me beyond words. A week later, Ryan surprised me with flowers after work, my favorite Italian takeout, and tickets for a weekend cabin getaway. He looked into my eyes and apologized for being distracted lately, promising things would finally slow down. I desperately wanted to believe him, so I chose hope over doubt. The trip was beautiful from the outside. We watched sunsets over the lake, laughed at old memories, and spent hours talking about future vacations we wanted to take together. Yet every time his phone vibrated, he quietly stepped outside, returning with a smile that somehow looked slightly heavier each time. After we came home, life settled into a familiar rhythm again, at least on the surface. Then, one rainy Thursday, our mail carrier accidentally placed a sealed envelope into our box without realizing the handwriting looked deeply personal instead of official, and everything changed before dinner even started. The envelope was addressed to Ryan, but there wasn't any return address or company logo, just his name written carefully across the front. I almost left it unopened on the kitchen counter until I noticed one sentence visible through the thin paper that made my heart stop completely. The words read, "You promised you'd finally tell her." My hands began shaking before I'd even realized I'd opened the envelope. Deep inside, I already knew no harmless explanation could possibly begin with a sentence like that, yet I forced myself to keep reading anyway. The letter wasn't romantic the way I'd feared. Instead, it came from someone named Daniel, thanking Ryan for years of financial support and reminding him that keeping painful secrets only hurt everyone involved. Every line answered one question while creating 10 new ones inside my racing mind. Near the bottom, Daniel wrote something I read over 3 different times because my brain refused to accept it. Emily deserves to know she has a brother before it's too late. My knees nearly gave out. We didn't know anyone named Emily, and Ryan had never mentioned a brother. For nearly an hour, I sat alone at our kitchen table, staring at those pages. I'd prepared myself for discovering another woman, another family, another betrayal. But nothing about this mystery fit into any story I'd imagined. Somehow, that uncertainty felt even worse than certainty ever could. When Ryan came home, he instantly noticed the opened envelope lying beside me. The color drained from his face before either of us spoke. That single expression told me one thing immediately. Whatever truth lived inside that letter had been haunting him long before it reached my hands.
"I was going to tell you," he whispered, barely above a breath. I laughed through unexpected tears because those 6 words always sound meaningless after the truth forces itself into daylight. If he really intended to tell me, why had someone else needed to remind him instead? Ryan slowly explained that before we met, his father had secretly fathered another child during a brief affair decades earlier. The family buried the truth to protect reputations, and Ryan only discovered his half-brother Daniel after both parents had passed away several years before. At first, I almost felt relieved. There wasn't another woman. There wasn't another secret family hidden from me. But then Ryan admitted he'd been sending Daniel money every month because Daniel had spent years caring for their sick mother alone, while the rest of the family pretended neither of them existed. "What about Emily?" I asked quietly. Ryan lowered his eyes before answering. Emily was Daniel's 12-year-old daughter. She'd recently been diagnosed with a serious heart condition, and doctors believed she might need an expensive surgery within months. Suddenly, every late night and every missing dollar made painful sense. I wanted to understand, but another question refused to leave my mind. Why hadn't he trusted me enough to tell me from the beginning? We'd faced layoffs, miscarriages, family funerals, and impossible decisions together. Why did he think this was the one burden our marriage couldn't survive? Ryan admitted he wasn't protecting himself. He was protecting me from his family's shame because he feared I'd see them differently. Then, as the lies piled higher, he became trapped inside them. Every day he waited made confession feel more impossible than the day before. His explanation made emotional sense, but it didn't erase the damage. Trust isn't destroyed only by affairs or stolen money. Sometimes it's broken by silence. Sitting across from him that night, I realized the person I'd loved most had been fighting a private battle while shutting me completely outside the door. Neither of us slept. We talked until sunrise about fear, guilt, family loyalty, and the strange ways good people sometimes create terrible consequences. For the first time in weeks, Ryan answered every question without hesitation, and strangely, the painful truth felt lighter than all the comforting lies before it. The following weekend, we drove together to meet Daniel and Emily. I expected anger, awkwardness, maybe even resentment, but instead, I found a quiet father, exhausted from years of carrying responsibilities he never chose. Emily smiled, despite everything she was facing, and somehow that smile changed me instantly. As Emily showed us her drawings scattered across the living room floor, I realized how close I'd come to misunderstanding everything. The secret hadn't hidden another romance, it had hidden another family, desperately trying to survive after decades of being forgotten by everyone who should have loved them first. Ryan squeezed my hand when Emily wasn't looking. There were tears in his eyes I'd never seen before. He wasn't asking for forgiveness with words anymore. He was asking through honesty, through vulnerability, and through finally allowing me to carry part of the weight he'd been carrying alone. Months later, Emily successfully underwent surgery, and our family slowly became one imperfect unexpected family, connected by truth instead of silence. The scar left on my marriage didn't completely disappear, but scars remind us what survived, not only what hurt us along the way. Sometimes I still think about that letter and wonder what would have happened if the mail had arrived correctly that day. Maybe Ryan would have confessed eventually. Maybe he wouldn't have. But I know one thing for certain. Secrets don't stay hidden forever. They simply decide the worst possible moment to be discovered.
If this story reminded you that love can't survive without honesty, then remember this before you leave. The hardest conversation today might save the relationship you treasure tomorrow. Because one unopened letter can change a life, but one truthful sentence can change it back.